Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, continuing the study in the series, There Shall Be 7 Weeks, focus on monthly offerings. So we're going to take a look at the monthly offerings and sacrifices. And as a reminder, we're picking up from Daniel 9, verse 25, part B, There Shall Be 7 Weeks. And the context is we're looking at the initial 49 years of the prophetic 483 year period communicated from Gabriel to Daniel. Again, Jerusalem has been rebuilt post-exile, and the events we're discussing are being covered in Nehemiah chapters 8 through 13. Israel is returning to God's law. The focus is temple worship service. Last week we covered the Sabbath offering. This week, Nehemiah reminds the Jewish people of the monthly offering, or the new moons. So new moons is a phrase and a reminder of a new month. And so those of you who are not familiar with the website, we'll look a lot at time and how time is measured. And a new moon or a new month is determined on the Hebrew calendar. So God operates on a lunar calendar, and Jews have utilized the following procedure. Every month for thousands of years, it's called Rosh Chodesh, which means head of the month. And at the end of a lunar cycle, the moon is dark and is not seen for 2 to 3 days. So the new moon could be identified during this 2 to 3 day period. Of that day or hour, no one knows. Now, some of you folks with prophetic inclinations recognize that phrase of that day or hour no one knows. That's a topic for another day, but today we're going to focus on how the new moon is proclaimed. And that happens when the first little sliver emerges from a darkened moon. It's a tiny crescent that's noted briefly at sunset on the western horizon, and the month begins at the sighting of the new moon. So it's not a mathematical calculation like we do it in today's world. It's visually observed by 2 witnesses, and they have to confirm the sighting. And upon agreement, the 2 witnesses report to the high priest. When the new moon is confirmed, the trumpet or the shofar, ram's horn, is blown. And you have to have 2 witnesses as a part of Jewish law. Now, you can see the specifics of that, and this is more in regards to, witnesses to crime or criminal activity. You can see that in Deuteronomy 19, verses 15 through 21. And 2 or more witnesses to the new moon are legally establishing as fact per the law. So it's not about the math. It's not about the calculation. It's about being an honest and truthworthy witness to the fact that something occurred. It's a legal issue. It's about your truthfulness. So once the new moon is established, the following sacrifices are to take place, and we're going to take a look at Numbers 28, verses 11 through 15. At the beginning of every month, you are to present to the Lord a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old, all unblemished, along with 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, as a grain offering with each bull. 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering with the ram, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering with each lamb. And this is a burnt offering, a pleasing aroma, and offering made by fire to the Lord. So we'll break this down just briefly. The elements of an animal sacrifice and bread remain from the daily offering to the Sabbath offering, now to the monthly offering. All animals, as previously noted, are unblemished and 1 year old. More bread is required for larger animals, and the amount of flour decreases from the bull. So with a bull, you have 3/10 of an ephah. To the ram, 2/10 of an ephah, and to the lamb, 1/10 of an ephah. So, as a reminder, an ephah is roughly a bushel or 8 dry gallons. So what do you got? 8 gallons, 8 pounds. So that's like what? 0.8 pounds of flour for a lamb, 1.6 for the ram, and that would be what? 2.4 pounds of flour or gallons for the bull. And the element of fire remains present, symbolic for judgment. grilled meat and baked bread is a pleasing aroma to the Lord. And then also we take the next step down. Each one of these has a drink offering. We get that from Numbers 28, verse 14. Their drink offering shall be half a hin of wine with each bull, a third of a hin with the ram, and a quarter hin with each lamb. And this is the monthly burnt offering to be made at each new moon throughout the year. So again, it's a reminder this happens once the new moon is identified. So you get the sequence of this. There's daily sacrifices, 2 per day, and then weekly on a Sabbath, and then monthly with a new moon. And it's just the schedule and the flow of time. It's part of it's for keeping time, and then some of it is also just the perpetual nature of it. It's like the habit, the flow of time, the flow of the sacrificial system. And this is going somewhere. We're going to discuss that here in a little bit, but we're going to get back to the wine. Wine is required with the sacrifice as well. The bigger the animal, more wine is required. So the amount of wine for a bull is 1/2 hin. For the ram, a third of a hin. And for the lamb, a quarter hin. So the liquid measurement of a hin is roughly 1.5 US gallons. So that'd be what? 0.75 gallons for a bull, 0.5 gallons for a ram. And so that'd be like 0.38 gallons for a lamb. And then lastly, Numbers 28:15, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its drink offering, one male goat is to be presented to the Lord as a sin offering. So the reality of it is you have perfect, spotless animals are sacrificed and burned. So symbolically, we have judgment is being delivered perpetually. So it's like daily sacrifices, weekly or sabbatical on the Sabbath sacrifices, and monthly sacrifices on the new moon. So these things are going on. And on a daily basis, it's 2. On a weekly basis, there's more. And then on a monthly basis, there's even more sacrifices. And again, they're perfect, spotless animals, a year old. Bread and wine are served with these sacrifices. And these elements represent perfect sacrifices. And why are these sacrifices offered? Because of the male goat, a symbol for sin. So Jesus is the fulfillment of all of this. He is the perfect, spotless, sinless man, sacrificed, judged on the cross. He is paying for sin. And he's the reminder. All of these things, all of these sacrifices point toward the person who is Jesus Christ. And, Hebrews does an excellent job of pointing all this stuff out. And it's a simplification, as the author of Hebrews writes it. But it's like the bull or the ram or the lamb doesn't take away the sin. It's the man who represents those perfect offerings. He is the one that takes away the sin. And it's because of him, sin has no sting. So Christ is the fulfillment. And I'd ask you the question, you got Jesus. So something to think about, and in the mess of all these sacrifices, and a lot of people ask, well, why is all that stuff necessary? Well, all these things point toward Christ, and that's the issue, and that's the point. So if you'd like to become a member of the website, please feel free to type in your email address over here on the right. Type in your email address and hit subscribe. You'll be given a notification every time we put something up and get something out. We got potential new government getting ready to happen today, and I suspect there will be heavy news flow coming out of the Middle East moving forward. A new prime minister, the change bloc, the change government appears to be a fractured group of people with their only united goal is to get rid of Netanyahu. So looks like they're going to get their wish, and we'll see what happens. Have some stuff probably coming up on that later this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. So keep you posted there. And please feel free to share with others at PaulthePoke.com. This will be categorized under angels. All right, here, click on these categories, and we have articles going back, coming up on 11 years in August, from all these different categories. So appreciate y'all following along. Wish you guys the best today. Have a good one. Later.